Hello and welcome to the Avrum Rosensweig Show.
Welcome to one of the internet's best podcasts, where we dive deep into the lives of the extraordinary and fascinating people who leave an indelible mark on our world. Join us as we explore their captivating stories, remarkable achievements, and unique perspectives that shape history and inspire generations. Get ready to embark on a journey through the lives of inspiring people unlike any other.
Hello, folks, and welcome to the show. My name is Avrum Rosensweig. You know, at a time when polarization and hatred and violence threaten to divide our communities, some people are choosing a different path. Not one of silence or anger, but of courage, friendship, and life. Today, I am deeply honored to welcome the extraordinary team behind Pomegranate Fest, an inspiring celebration of the friendship between the Jewish and Iranian communities. My guests who will speak about the fest are the remarkable Jian Magen. Welcome, Jian.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you. Lynda Kraar. Welcome, Lynda.
Thank you.
And Saei. Welcome, Saei.
It's an honor. Thank you.
Pomegranate Fest grew out of a deeply moving story of solidarity between Toronto's Iranian and Jewish community. Earlier this year, Jewish Canadians stood alongside Iranian Canadians following the tragic and systematic killing of courageous Iranians who took to the street of pursuit of freedom and a better future for their country. Later, Iranian Canadians stood alongside the Jewish community at the Walk for Israel. Through these acts of mutual support, the two communities discovered something very, very powerful, an alliance rooted in shared values, in mutual respect, human dignity, and a determination to stand against hatred and extremism. That spark of friendship grew even brighter when the producers of Fiddler on the Roof in Yiddish invited 40 members of the Iranian community to attend a performance. What began as a beautiful gesture of solidarity soon became something much greater. It became a movement. That movement is now Pomegranate Fest, taking place on August 23rd at Earl Bales Park in Toronto. The festival's goals are both ambitious and urgent: to strengthen relations between the two communities, promote education, awareness and civic engagement, welcome sponsors and community partners, and affirm the right of Jewishness, Iranian, and allied communities to live safely and proudly in Toronto and in Canada. It is also a call for our leaders and authorities to confront anti-Semitism, anti-Iranian hatred, intimidation, and extremism, and to help lower the temperature in an increasingly hostile climate. Today, we will hear the remarkable behind-the-scenes story of how this team came together, how they transformed shared pain into purposeful action, and how they are working to replace fear with friendship and darkness with light. Please welcome the remarkable team bringing Pomegranate Fest to life. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
It's so nice to have you guys and to be part of something which will no doubt be vibrant and also a reflection of unity, of peace, of love, of really a communal embrace. So let's start at the beginning here. My dear friend Lynda Kraar, who's a magnificent human being, saw an opportunity here and went for it. Now, I want my viewers and listeners to know a little bit about who you are, Lynn. You're the daughter of Holocaust survivors. You've devoted much of your life to Jewish communal service, education, advocacy, and preserving memory. You're a rock star. Everybody should know about your music. And much of your life has been dedicated both to the Jewish community, to peace in the world, and to music indeed. So tell us about the genesis of the Pomegranate Fest.
Pomegranate Fest started when I observed the response to 60,000 people who walked together during the Walk for Israel, sponsored by UJA, and how many untold and sort of not really organized members of the Iranian community came and marched alongside with their flags, happy, loving. It was incredible. And people around the world who saw that 60,000 people came for this Walk for Israel I think they were so uplifted by what they saw. And I said, well, I would like to take that, it's sort of like Nikola Tesla looking at Niagara Falls and saying, oh, I can make electricity out of that. So I looked at this whole situation. I said, I could create a movement out of this and just, sort of focus in on how much love and friendship was being felt. And so in very short order, I reached out to the friend of all of us, to Rafi Yablonsky, and I said, who do you know in the Iranian community who I could talk to about perhaps doing something together? He said, oh, that's easy. You have to speak to Saei Fard. So right away, I was introduced to Saei Fard, and we started talking. And I had this idea because my daughter Miriam was doing the super titles in English for Yiddish Fiddler on the Roof. And
Yes.
the musical supervisor was our old friend Zalman Mlotek from Teaneck, New Jersey, my longtime neighbor. So we started talking, and I thought, wouldn't it be splendid to invite the Iranian community to a performance of Fiddler? And Saei thought this was a great idea. We all thought this was a great idea. We took it to the Green family of the Green Jewish Theater, and they thought it was a great idea. And they were able to arrange 40 tickets, generously arranged 40 tickets for the Iranian community. And Saei can really take it from here, but just the headline is, she said, I'm doing a meetup. Why don't we have a group of people come to the meetup? And from there, we'll all walk to the theater together. It's just a 2-minute walk. And that was the genesis. So we sat together during Fiddler. And Saei, if you wouldn't mind picking up the story of why Fiddler might be significant to Iranians.
Before we do that, Saei, I want to
Okay.
welcome you to the show once again. And I
Thank
want to
you
give,
so much.
it's great to have you. We've lost Jian. Hopefully we'll get him back.
I'm here.
I want,
I'm here.
Okay.
okay. We
We've
can't
lost
see you.
Yeah, we
Perhaps
lost
you
the video feed. It's okay.
Perhaps your camera's gone off. Saei, you were born in Iran, and you spent your first 10 years living through the Iran-Iraq War, which I'm so sorry for you. Your experience, you said, inspired a guiding conviction, which was a voice you are fortunate enough to have, is a voice you owe to people who do not have one. You write and speak about human rights in Iran, the women, life, freedom movement, and the consequences of Western institutions remaining silent in the face of oppression. And full-time, you are a CFO in the area of technology. So once again, welcome to the show. What was Fiddler on the Roof like for you? It was a Yiddish show.
It was amazing. So I'll start with that. It was a great show, but even more than just the show itself, I think the outreach from the Jewish community through Lynda, Rafi first, and Lynda, who connected with a really bright mentee of mine, Ali. It meant so much. I think it was always a dream for me to build bridges across the two communities and with other allies.
Yes.
And the gesture by itself, I thought, wow, this means so much, which is why I wanted to make the event have even more resonance for the Iranian community. And boy, did Lynda bring that to us. Ali and I had put aside, a venue to host everyone. I never imagined that the event would turn into what it did.
Yes.
Lynda brought us Kevin Green, and Brad Bradford also came to speak and to meet and greet both communities. We also had David Eisner with us. To say that the event was very emotional, especially for me, but also for everyone who attended, wouldn't really cover it. I think we had a number of folks that joined us from the Jewish community. We had about, I think it was 38 of us together as Iranians, and every single person who came to the event said that both the pre-event and the show itself left them with both a sense of gratitude, but also a determination to model the types of behavior and the types of hosting, co-hosting that we were doing. And so we came up with so much great energy, and Pomegranate Fest is one of the outputs of that energy. So I'm grateful to Lynda for everything that she did. We've become greater friends as a result of everything that's happened since.
Yeah, she's easy to be friends with, and she does a lot of things for a lot of people. I know that through my own experience. Now, Saei, before we move on to Jian, excuse me, there is a symbiosis between the Jewish people and the Iranian people. A little bit about that. Jewish life in Persia stretches back about 2,700 years, beginning with the Babylonian exile and the subsequent rise of the Persian Empire. Moving on, during the Holocaust, Iranian diplomat Abdul Hossein Sadari helped protect Iranian Jews in Nazi-occupied France by providing documents and challenging Nazi racial classifications. Under the Shah, Iran and Israel maintained very significant unofficial diplomatic, economic, and security relations. So our relationship goes way back, perhaps almost 3,000 years. So when you think of the Jewish people and the Jewish community, what comes to mind per your relationship?
There's so many layers to that question, so I'm going to cover a few of them. I'm sure I'll fall short of giving you the full perspective, and I'll be thinking about things I should have said, because that's a really great question. I'll start out by saying that I think the Iranian community is undergoing an awakening. Most of us who have grown up in Iran post 1979 have been subject to the greatest amount of propaganda that the world has seen on hate for the Jewish people. I have left Iran when I was 10 years old, and you can imagine, going through the school system in Iran after 1979 and how much fear there is in Iran post 1979 to talk to children about things that they may talk about at school, and just how much that indoctrination is sort of in the background of what every Iranian child observes. What I'm really proud of, though, in looking at what's happened both in Iran and also across the diaspora, is that the Iranian people have chosen to reclaim our heritage. So you spoke about 2,700 years of friendship, of everything that comes before anything that today is considered politics. The Iranian people are choosing to claim our indigenous heritage. We are choosing to reject the last 47 years of indoctrination. We're even taking leadership across the world to highlight to everybody else what we have learned through those 47 years. So for me, I would say I am, there are a lot of things today that make me quite sad and upset on a micro basis. But when I step back, I'm actually incredibly proud of what the Iranian people are choosing to stand for, not only in Iran, courageously with the cost of their lives, but across the world. We do experience a great deal of, I'll call it secondhand anti-Semitism. And I didn't even know that term existed. Somebody else talked to me about it recently. We experience it, some of us daily. We still choose to show up. And I think we actually see this not just as a duty to our Jewish allies for everything that our Jewish allies are standing with us for. We actually see this as a duty to the world. The world is ailing today. There is hate and polarization that is taking over all parts of the free world. And historically, Iranians have stood for the values of Cyrus the Great. We have been an inspiration to the rest of the world. The French Constitution and the U.S. constitutions, many folks may not know, they have taken some of those ideals and have credited Cyrus the Great for what he stood for in leadership. And so I think we're choosing, again, to reclaim our indigenous heritage. We're choosing to take up that leadership in a world where that is uncomfortable. So I want to applaud every single person in the Iranian community
Nicely
who
said.
is choosing to stand with us.
Nicely said. And thank you for saying that.
Can you guys see?
No, we can't, Jian. We're just going to go with your vocals.
Oh my goodness.
Jian, welcome to the show. You
Thank
are
you.
one of the Magen boys. Anyone in Toronto will know who you are. You're an Iranian Canadian Jew, so you have a unique status in our community and on this show. And you're one of the brainchilds of the Pomegranate Fest. Before I ask you a couple questions, I want to say that Iran has more than 90 million people, so it's quite a big country. Here in Toronto, I think we have about 80 or 90,000 Iranians. Would that be correct?
We had 380,000 of us who showed up at the last event, March for Iran's Freedom, but likely from all across Ontario and perhaps Quebec.
Right. And there are Iranians across Canada as well. Toronto, by the way, has somewhere in the area of about 190,000 or 200,000 Jews across the country, 350 to 400,000. We have you back, Jian.
Okay.
Welcome back. Interesting thing about Iran, nearly 3/4 of Iranians live in urban areas. Tehran is the country's largest city and its political, culture, and economic center. So you are an Iranian Jew. Do you have a strong sense of the Iranian within you, or would you say that most of your life is spent just as a Jew?
It's a great question, and one that has really had a profound impact on me in the last 9 months of my life. And that's because, I'm 100% Iranian. Okay. I know the language fluently. I can't speak.
Oh, here he goes.
Are you guys there?
Yeah, we're
it's okay.
here.
Just keep going. It's fine.
Can you hear me?
We can
Yes.
hear you. Yep.
For some reason, I can't hear you guys. Yeah.
Okay. So when you can hear me, let me know. I want to just jump forward with another point, and hopefully we'll get Jian back. Here's a very interesting point you guys may not have thought about. When you decided to call the Pomegranate Fest the Pomegranate Fest, my guess is that this was sort of a light bulb went off in someone's head. And I want to tell my viewers and listeners a little bit about the pomegranate, okay? It's an ancient shared symbol. The pomegranate has deep roots in both Persian and Jewish history, making it a natural emblem of friendship between the Iranian and Jewish community. It's a beautiful piece here. The pomegranate is one of the 7 species associated with the land of Israel. Its image also decorated the garments of the high priest and the pillars of the ancient temple. We're getting even more interesting here. In Iranian tradition, the pomegranate represents life, fertility, beauty, and renewal. It is especially prominent during Yalda night when families celebrate life overcoming darkness. Who came up with the title, the Pomegranate Fest?
So he's not on the call right now, but there are 2 folks that came up with this name. So it was between Jian and Ali. Ali Najati is a good friend of all of ours, and he actually came up with the "What do you guys think about this?" And I think between him and Jian, the pomegranate was chosen as the symbol that is shared across the 2 cultures. It's a beautiful reference. Thank you for covering it for those listening in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Jian, do you want to comment on the name, the Pomegranate Fest? Why the pomegranate?
Oh.
Yeah, we're just not connecting there. Okay. Lynda, I'm assuming you like that name, Pomegranate Fest.
I loved it. I thought it was perfect. I got it. I think if anybody has spent any time in the Middle East, especially, you get the pomegranate. You just get the pomegranate. How many clothes has it been on of mine? Jewelry, everything. It's just such a beautiful, loving thing. The tragedy for us, not really a tragedy, is that it's not a seasonal fruit in Ontario. So I was not able to locate any at this time of year. It's very hard to find, So it's with us in spirit.
Just one more thing about it. It's rich color and it's gorgeous. An abundance of seeds makes the pomegranate an enduring symbol of blessing, possibility, and a flourishing future. Precisely the vision behind Pomegranate Fest. Lynn, I don't know if you know this, but there's sort of a mystical understanding of the pomegranate within Judaism that there are 613 seeds
13,
inside,
right.
of it, which
Yeah,
represent the mitzvot, the deeds
right.
that God commanded us to. By the way, if you count the seeds, there aren't 613. All right, so we've come up with this idea. Once again, it's called the Pomegranate Fest, and it is going to be happening on Sunday, August 23rd. We should say this recording is happening on Wednesday the 9th. You will have a few days to get ready for it. I'd love to know exactly what the day of is going to look like. Lynn, can you let us in on that a bit?
We're going to have DJs, live music, speakers, public figures. We've invited the entire community to come out and join us, and that's going to start around 2:00. And we are anticipating family-oriented stuff from 2:00, and around 5:30, we'll start having, like I say, public speakers and DJs from all the communities and a number of other talents that, I think Jian could tell us more about if we could get him back in. But we can definitely tell you to go to www.pomegranatefest.com and you get all the details there.
Okay, I understand he will be the MC that day, right, Jian?
Yes.
Yeah, we're having some problems getting him back, but perhaps we will in a minute or two. Saei, what are you looking forward to in particular on the day of?
You can probably guess from, I was tearing up at the beginning when you were giving the intro. I'm actually quite emotional on a personal level. Seeing the, this is not meant to be a pun, but it's the fruits of our labor.
Sure.
I think seeing the two communities together, and even just pre-event, I want to highlight there's been so much beautiful sentiment that I've written on LinkedIn. I've been writing for a while, and so the sentiment that's come from both the Iranian community as well as the Jewish community as to how excited they both are. I think they've been quietly in the background seeing the allyship. And I do think both sides have been quietly surprised by what's happened at, for example, these two walks that Lynda spoke about. So we've been quietly observing that allyship, but this is the first time that publicly we are coming together in celebration of both cultures. And we're also going through the exercise of recognizing what we have in common. You mentioned the pomegranate reference, but I can't remember, 2-3 days ago, there's a WhatsApp group that has all of us on it. And I think Ali asked about the reference of the pomegranate in the Jewish culture. And so we got Rafi chiming in, and he gave us a version of what you did. And then we shared the Iranian side. And you could tell, even though we were not in person, you could see in our heads how much the bridges are building just even through that type of a conversation, So I'm personally deeply inspired by not just the event itself, but the conversations that are starting to happen across the communities and how everyone's so pleasantly surprised to discover how much we have in common.
Yeah, I think that it's not only how much we have in common, and certainly we embrace that, but it's the idea that we have this friendship. Because Lynn and I both know, and within your Iranian community, that it's very, very lonely time to be a Jew. And it's a very lonely time to be an Iranian or a diaspora Iranian. Yeah. Certainly those people living in Iran. So I want to touch on some of the similarities between the Iranian and Jewish people. And I would like you to comment, both of you to comment on those in the context of the Pomegranate Fest. So firstly, both Iranian and Jewish cultures place family at the center of life, with close relationships extending across several generations. Will this be a family event?
Yes. Yeah, we opened it up to all families. Yeah, we're starting it early enough that families who want to come and celebrate and just be in a wonderful, safe space. I hate using that expression, but there it is.
Yeah.
Just to be in a place where they can feel free to be who they are and maybe have a picnic and pull up a blanket. They can do that early in the day, and it will be more family oriented. Like I say, later on in the day, when those families need to go home to get ready because it's a Sunday, get ready for the next day, whatever the next day looks like, work and routine. They should have had 3 good hours of just gallivanting through a beautiful field at Earl Bales.
Earl Bales is beautiful, by the way. It is my park. People
Yes,
in the
it
area
is.
always, right? People identify it as being their park,
Right.
but it's my park. What time does the event start?
2 p.m.
Starts at 2 p.m. and it goes until
10 o'clock or whatever,
That goes into
Yeah,
Okay,
because I'll
here's
tell you what it is. I'm sorry. The one thing that we share very much in common is we're all very passionate people. So we're the people, when you're at a party, who say goodbye and never leave. The Jews and the Iranians. That's who we are. Some people leave and don't say goodbye. We say goodbye and we never
Goodbye.
leave. We just
Yes. The Persian
Saei-
goodbye has a dear place in our hearts. Very prolonged.
It's Jewish also.
Yes.
how do you say goodbye, take care in Farsi?
You say Khoda Hafiz, which means may God protect you.
Right. And in Hebrew, we say lehitraot, until we meet again, really, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's another beautiful piece, similarities between Iranians and Jews. The elderly are traditionally treated as a source of wisdom, experience, and family continuity. Caring for aging parents is considered an important responsibility. Will the elderly be comfortable at the Pomegranate Fest?
Oh, sure. First of all, the park is really outfitted for people. There's benches everywhere, picnic tables, whatever, what have you. I think it's going to be for everybody. We want it that way.
Okay.
I have a beautiful story, just a really quick one. I had somebody's grandfather reach out to me on LinkedIn and say he's so excited because his grandchildren who are Jewish were very excited to learn that there's an event and they can invite their Iranian friends. And that literally, I thought, wow, just the impact of that, to know that you have folks that you can go up to and the allyship that builds even simply through the generations and kids. I thought that made my day to get that.
Are your grandparents still with us, Saei? Any of them?
I have a grandmother who is alive in Iran. Very sad, but similar to many Iranians in the diaspora. I may not be able to see her, and it's one of the reasons that I advocate as much as I do, and I hope for change in our near lifetime, because I'd love for not just myself, but for my parents to be able to spend time with her. But it's a burden that the Iranian community carries in most of us have stories of that nature. That
what is your grandmother's name?
I won't give her full name just for safety, but she goes by Nosrat.
And what is she like?
She's a beautiful human. I think she's lived obviously through many layers of change. And as I think about those 10 years that I did have with her, I mean, you speak about the importance of family in both of our cultures. One of the things that I mourned the most before I even had the mental capacity to really understand what exactly was at stake in Iran when we first moved, the biggest thing that I missed about life was actually family. We grow up as Iranians surrounded by our cousins, constant weekends with our grandparents. And I know from speaking to Rafi and other Jewish friends that this is actually a very common experience amongst Jewish communities as well. I have missed out on that. And I think many Iranians feel that they have missed out on that. And so the experience of exile, I think, it's basically overlooked. And that experience comes with so much empathy for other immigrants, but also it is unique. There's very few. I've heard my parents say, how many other immigrants do you know in Canada from anywhere else that can say they may never see their parents or grandparents. And in the Iranian community,
Yes.
that is a decision that is made when many leave. And so a lot of our music and art is based on that lately.
You know, I think, just to reiterate, it's the idea that family is so incredibly important to the Iranian people and so important to the Jewish people. Lynda, I knew your parents, and they were very, very unique human beings. They were Holocaust survivors. How would your parents respond to the Pomegranate Fest? What would they say?
Oh, they would love this. They would think this
They would
is
love it?
Oh, absolutely. They get it. Sure, they get it, because they went through what the contemporary Iranian younger people are going through right now, and they can completely relate to it and understand how important it is not to fight and to hate and do things out of anger or fear, but to just move forward and to do things out of love. Is way more, you get a better result. That's where the result is. So that's really what motivated me. I am just blessed, really blessed, that I found Saei, and that, that Rafi helped us put ourselves together, but that we found like-minded people that just get that, and we understand what is at stake. We do understand what is at stake. I grew up with no grandparents, no close cousins, no aunts, no uncles. Everybody was murdered, and that was my normal. That should not be a normal for anybody. And to watch in real time Iranians going through this is really painful. And the decision to come together and do something positive is such a hard and brave decision. And anybody who's coming on this journey, these are the bravest of the brave doing this event.
Just to comment a little bit on the Iranian regime, security forces have repeatedly used unlawful lethal force, massive arrests, and torture to suppress demonstrations there. And the United Nations concluded that abuses committed during the Women, Life, Freedom protests included crimes against humanity. And this goes on and on and on. So both communities understand what oppression is and violence against us. Now, just flipping to something happier for a moment, I'm talking about similarities between the Iranians and the Jewish people. And I would be remiss if I did not talk about food. Persian and Jewish families preserve their histories through treasured recipes, rice dishes, stews, herbs, fruits, nuts, and slow-cooked foods frequently carry stories of parents and grandparents. Saei, is food a big part of your culture?
Absolutely. I have mixed heritage children. And the one thing I think that is so easy to pass on is the stories about food and the whole breaking bread together. My children, as when they think of their heritage and what what they want to share with their friends, and how they think about bridging between the two cultures that they're a part of. It's always about the food, and you can see food also helps in talking to allies, and I think that's the case in both communities. I had the privilege of being up with Rafi at one of the very loved Jewish restaurants. It was called United Bakers.
United Bakers.
We all know it.
We all know it.
I was up there, and honestly, the amount of soul in this restaurant. I told my husband, I said, we have to go, and we have to take other allies, Iranians and non-Iranians. I think it's a beautiful.
What did you order? Do you remember?
What'd you order? Yeah, that's what we want to know.
The latkes were my favorite. I also had the soup, the pea soup.
Oh, the pea soup. Oh, the split pea soup.
Yes, thanks to Rafi. He made sure.
Nice.
And we had the restaurateur come out. It was just
that's great.
Whole other experience.
And for dessert, have rice pudding. Do we know, Lynn or Saei, what sort of food will be presented at the Pomegranate Fest?
I don't know. Saei, do you know?
We won't have a list. I think we're still working on the last of that, so I won't. I won't chime in too much, but just know that we're looking to feature the best of both cultures, and that we'll be breaking bread together and sharing memories over food.
Yeah, I'm
And
sorry that
here's a shout out to any food truck people that want to get in on this. Just reach out to us at pomegranatefest.com, waiting for your call.
I like the formality of this event and the informality of it. I just love it. I'm sorry that we couldn't get Jian back, but we had some problems on the technology side. Now, there's a big piece of, again, similarities between our people. One is ancient historical identity. The other is education and achievements. Learning is highly valued in both cultures. Learning is.
Yeah.
Parents frequently make significant sacrifices to provide their children with strong educational and professional opportunities. Will the backdrop of the Pomegranate Fest be the successes of the Iranian people, the successes of the Jewish people, how we've educated ourselves in the diaspora and made sure that we are vocal about human rights issues back home? Because I know within our Jewish community, and Lynn knows this really well, that education is everything. Education is everything. Is there that sort of flavor within the Pomegranate Fest?
If I can go, Lynda, just for a quick second, I think the officials that are joining us from both communities, there is definitely pride and inspiration from what they have achieved. They are role models. But if I can take the idea of Pomegranate Fest, the goal of Pomegranate Fest is actually to bring the two communities together for exactly efforts as you're describing. There is quite a lot, and I can speak from a technology and an investor perspective because that's the world that I live in for my full-time roles the last 10, 12 years of my executive career. I think even before October 7th, there was quiet allyship that was building as the two communities were finding each other in technology and innovation in the investor communities. And I think what's changed more recently is that quiet, allyship is no longer that quiet. I think we are aware of each other's successes. We're admiring one another's achievements, and we are rallying around the idea that our heritage, which emphasizes education, innovation, achievement, that all of that is very positive and that we have that in common and that we can support one another. So I am on a personal level just really excited to see all of that. The cross collaboration has increased quite a lot, and I know working in technology how important that is to have different folks coming to the table with new ideas. I've also seen allies really stepping in and having conversations with both communities, and again, that was not it was not something that I had seen earlier, at least in the acknowledgement of the pain, shared pain that is going through these communities.
Light carries a powerful meaning in both traditions, from Shabbat and Hanukkah lights, candles, to the fires of Shahar Shanbi Suri.
Yes.
It also represents hope, renewal, freedom, and the refusal to allow darkness to prevail. Lynn, I would say that anything that you've ever worked on, maybe aside from Holocaust memorials, there's a huge light that emanates from it, because that's who you are. Your soul is like that. And my guess is this coming, well, it's true. And anyone who's worked with you knows that on this coming Sunday at the Pomegranate Fest, my sense is that we will not be maudlin, but in fact, we will be full of light. We will be very happy. We're going to celebrate a beautiful, beautiful relationship between the Iranian and the Jewish community. There's no doubt in my mind. I, for one, cannot wait to be there because of that light. And it is so needed today. My guess is that's probably one of the major ingredients in the creation of the Pomegranate Fest, right, Lynn?
I would say so. And it really emanates a light that extends beyond Toronto and goes to even like Los Angeles.
Yes.
Yeah.
For example, Fiddler in Yiddish is coming to LA, and we're going to somehow, and Saei knows more about this than I do, work in developing that relationship with the Iranian community in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I wish Jian was on the call. The Jewish Iranian community, the non-Jewish Iranian community, there's a lot of excitement. that we can capitalize on. And if you're listening in from there, get in touch. we can connect you to all the right folks. And that production was absolutely stunning.
So can I ask you something? Through all of the sorrow that your community is going through,
Yep.
through all of the tragedy that you're very familiar with, you're very aware of, how do you keep that light inside of yourself? How do you give it over to your children? How does your community maintain enough of that illumination so that you can go to a fest on Sunday, the Pomegranate Fest, and be happy?
I'll give you two thoughts. I think if you ask me what's happening in Iran today, and this always astounds me, music and dance in particular are a very, very big part of how children are raised in Iran. I remember during the years of war, learning to dance from all of my aunts and uncles. And there are so many different, vibrant heritage backgrounds. Iran is an umbrella nation. So there's music and dance from the Baluchis, the Kurds, the Azeris, the Persians, the Arabs in south of Iran. So Iran is a very umbrella nation with a ton of musical and dance heritage and costumes. And so if you think about Iranians have been experiencing this hardship. Now, of course, it feels like the noose is getting tighter and tighter every year with what's happening.
Yes.
But since I was born, which is soon after 1979, I have seen that parents pass that on. Our heritage lives on through music and dance and food, as you've touched on. And so even in the most intense times in history, as war is raging all around, there is still music and dance in almost every home in Iran. And so that's one way. I would say that's how the Iranians in Iran are dealing with a lot of what's happening. In the diaspora, I will mention, I think in some ways it's actually harder because you're away from everyone that is being harmed, and watching people be harmed and not knowing what to do or not having information is even more difficult in some ways, psychological ways, not obviously the physical tools of war. And I've lived in war to be able to say that with credibility. And so I will say, I think we are struggling as a community. Part of the reason that I decided as the child of immigrants to get involved is I don't want that helplessness to become darkness for us. And it threatens us every day. And Reza Pahlavi speaks to hopelessness as the biggest enemy of the Iranian people and the biggest weapon of the regime. And so I have taken inspiration from him on that concept. And I've been thinking about what does it mean to find light. The Jewish community, I will say, are amazing role models. When I hear the Holocaust stories, when I watch what's happening, across the world, and also, during Fiddler on the Roof, watching that production, it gives you a sense of what is still possible in bringing joy to the world. And there's been decades or centuries, I should say, and thousands of years of the Jewish people having found that light. So I think there's natural allyship here because we can learn a lot as Iranians from the Jewish community, and we are learning a lot every day.
Lynda, let's flip that around for a second. Do you find that the Iranian community today, through your work, is a role model to us, the Jewish people?
Absolutely. They're just loud and proud and passionate. Then they don't turn inward, they turn outward. It's really something we need to learn from, because we are notorious at turning inward and being timid, or looking like we're timid and just internalizing everything. We really have no need to do that. When we see our Iranian brothers and sisters really being out there, there's no need for us to be quiet, So there was like one small thing I just wanted to mention. We were talking about Fiddler before, and I'm wondering if maybe Saei could speak to this. I wanted to talk about Feridun Farrokhzad for a minute, and his Farsi version of of
Fiddler.
yeah, and of tradition. He did the song Tradition in Farsi. And he was
Yes.
he was the John Lennon, really, the John Lennon slash Freddie Mercury of
Yeah.
Iran.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, when the regime took over in 79, he went to Germany. And in 1992, he was killed by the regime. They found him and they killed him. And it was a huge trauma to the community that their spokesman, their cultural spokesman, should befall this fate, you know. And it's I think the one thing that resonated for me when we had a room full of, you know, a section at the theater full of our Iranian friends, I think they felt very strongly when they heard the song Tradition. They were probably thinking of Faridun Farrokhzad. What do you think?
No, absolutely.
Yeah, he's somebody who just has resonated in my heart.
Yeah.
Maybe as a
Yeah,
performer
so
myself. Yeah.
What do you think, Saei?
Well, I think the story, I told Lynda the story, and I think, I don't know if you had heard it for the first time or if I sent the clip. So the first thing my parents said to me when I said, oh, I'm going to go see Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah.
They said, tradition.
Right.
And
Amazing. Yeah.
And so, and they said, oh, did you know that, you know, before you were born, that we listened to that song and that one of our favorite icons and singers brought that to us. And there are so many moments in my life where I realized, wow, my parents' life was so different than mine in Iran, because they have all these stories that makes me think, wow, like we lost even far more than what we thought we lost in Iran. And so I had looked him up, and as Lynda said, he was a cultural icon, a beautiful human. And he was murdered in Germany by an official who is still, he's actually in the US. And the German police were even able to link the murder. And there's been so many more like it, especially all across Europe. So if you're listening in from Europe, especially if you're an ally, take note, none of that terrorism was extinguished. It has only become far more potent. And it's another reason that we all owe a duty of care to the Western world, to our democracies, to speak up. And it's the reason that Iranians are not quiet. We are not a quiet bunch, because we owe that duty to all non-Iranians to warn the world about what this will mean if we're all quiet.
I think one of the concerns that some people might have about the Pomegranate Fest, once again, this Sunday, August 23rd, starts at 10, go till the evening, late at night, is a security. Will there be good security there?
Lynda, do you want to speak to that? I know Jian was the specialist amongst us who was going to speak to that, because he often puts on events of this nature. But did you want to chime in?
Yes, we have reached out to all of the I don't know the word in English. I'm flipping into Hebrew for some reason. Just to all the authorities and the police, and we're getting the Shomrim, which is a volunteer group who will be on site, and we should have quite a lot of security.
Okay.
Yeah, and if it helps the audience, we do have officials from our government at various levels who are attending the event. So, they obviously are checking in. So make sure, if that's a concern, that you take comfort in the fact that our government officials are coming from various levels. Don't let that stop you.
Yes,
that's exactly what the enemy wants.
That's right.
Don't be afraid. Come out. Be proud.
Yes.
I want to. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I want to thank Folks Bina Theater in New York for their sponsorship of this show, and I also want to read to you a poem from AI about the Pomegranate Fest and about your work on it. It goes like this: when hatred raises walls between neighbors, when anger marches loudly through the street, there are those who choose another pathway, who answer darkness not with darkness, but with courage, with friendship, and with light. Lynda Kraar, Fard, Jian Magen found one another not through sameness, but through a shared refusal to remain silent, before suffering. Jewish Canadians stood beside Iranians who mourned the courageous souls killed while crying out for freedom. And Iranian Canadians walked beside Jews, declaring that friendship is much stronger than fear and solidarity stronger than intimidation. Their story reaches backwards through the centuries to ancient Persia, where Cyrus opened the gates of exile and allowed a displaced people to return home, to Esther and Mordecai, whose courage still echoes through Jewish memory, to Iranian Jewish communities in Tehran, Shiraz, Isfahan, and Hamadan, where prayers and Persian melodies have mingled for generations. Then came an evening of Fiddler on the Roof, performed in what? In Yiddish. 40 Iranian guests welcome into a Jewish story of family, displacement, tradition, and survival. They recognized something in one another. A gesture became a friendship became a vision, and that vision became Pomegranate Fest. For what is pomegranate but hundreds of individual seeds held together with one protective embrace, each seed distinct, each one precious, yet all belonging to the same fruit. On August 23rd at Earl Bales Park, two communities will gather, not to erase their differences, but to celebrate them, not merely to oppose hatred, but to create something beautiful in its place. May their music overpower the shouting. May their stories replace suspicion with understanding. May leaders hear their united voices. May every family stand safely and proudly. And may the seeds planted at Pomegranate Fest grow into an enduring alliance, rooted in memory and nourished by courage, bearing the fruit of freedom and always reaching toward the light. And there you have it.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I want to thank you too, and I want to thank Jian as well, who made every effort to be here, because I'm really excited about the Pomegranate Fest. I really am. Like we say in Hebrew, kol hakavod, which is all the power to you for bringing forward a program that everybody needs. We need to breathe, and we need to breathe solidarity and freedom and love and the embrace. No doubt that this festival is going to give over. So well done to the both of you and to everybody who's been involved in putting this together. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to be part of it through this interview. And I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Any closing words, both of you? Lynn, any closing words?
I just look forward to seeing everybody who wants to celebrate the light come on out and show the love.
It's been
Saei,
an honor
closing
to
words?
be on that show. It's been an honor to
Thank
be
you.
on your show, and it's a similarly an honor to bring together the event on the 23rd. Special thanks to Jian for all the work that he's done in the background, and to Ali, who's our other co-creator.
Am Yisrael Chai, the nation of Israel live. Am Yisrael Chai, and the nation of Iran shall live in peace. Until we see you on Sunday at the Pomegranate Fest, God bless you. And as my mother of blessed memory used to say, sei gesund. What does that mean, Lynn?
Be well. Be
Be
healthy.
well. Go in good health.
Yeah.
And we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.